I'm here with Dr. Faggio and we're going to be talking about hair restoration. Now we've got Shane here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you actually did?
So Shane had a hair transplant about 2 years ago. He was 38 at the time and he was concerned about his receding hairline. He approached us with a view to have a hair transplant, which essentially involves removing hairs, healthy hair roots from the back of the scalp and moving them on to the areas where he's lost hair from. The interesting thing about Shane's hair transplant is he had it done using a robot, which is the only robot for hair transplant surgery. And what it does, it actually automatically harvests healthy hairs from the back of the scalp. And we pick those hairs out and then we place them individually back in the front of his hairline.
So, I mean, it sounds exciting, you know, new innovation with a robot. So how does that differ from traditional techniques of hair?
Well, there are two ways of performing hair transplants. One is where we remove a section of skin from the back and that making a cut at the back, but it results in a scar across the back of the scalp. It works very well, but a lot of people don't like the scar, and you can see with Shane's haircut, if he did have that, it'll show. The second method involves individually extracting these hairs, shaving the head and by hand coring them out. But as you can imagine, it's very time-consuming, very labor-intensive, but also is very difficult technically to guess at the right angle of the hairs and make sure you don't damage any hairs. So the Artas Robot, what it actually does, it has algorithms to sort of automatically calculate the angle of the hair and the direction of the hairs, and sort of accurately drills down to removes these hair bulbs intact. So that they can be as healthy as possible and you can get as successful a result as possible.
So Dr. Faggio, you've been doing hair transplants before anyone, I think. Obviously you still look young, but in terms of the way everything's going, you know, you looked at the traditional, your FUE, but for you running quite a busy practice, is this quite an advantage for you to have something like this?
Absolutely, absolutely. The biggest advantage the robot has given us, it allows us to do large-scale operations accurately and also accurately in a repetitive manner. One of the biggest things about hair transplant involves a lot of repeated exercise where you have to keep going, removing the hairs, and as you can imagine, after about an hour or two, you know, any human being would get tired and the efficiency drops. The robot doesn't get tired. Yes, I have manual override over everything, but it's much easier to do that than actually physically do it bit by bit. And it does it at speed, so it enables us to achieve a lot more transplanting in a shorter period of time, and also results in more comfort for the patient for a procedure that probably takes most of the day.
So with the viewers that are watching, I mean, what are the sort of typical patients that are really going for this type of procedure?
Well, still the vast majority of patients are the male pattern hair loss, the genetic type of hair loss that go through it, but also people who've lost hairs where you don't expect them to lose hair from because of injury, because of disease, as long as it's not active inflammatory disease. A lot of women having it done as well, as once we rule out any other medical problems, it can be suitable for that. But back to the advantage of the robot, if you look at Shane's head, you can see there's absolutely no evidence of anything happening, and the scars are so subtle he can have a short haircut like that. Really, as long as there's an area of the scalp that had hair and it doesn't have it anymore, you could use it for that purpose.
Well, I think the result looks amazing. Shane, you look pretty happy.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming down and sharing that with us. That's all from part one. Join us again after the break.